Now, if you're into the UAP phenomena, okay, you're probably well aware that the sheer conversation can always branch out into so many things and then inevitably come back to itself again, all right? And then you're in this sort of continuous loop of understanding but not understanding and still so many questions. It's really, it can be frustrating, but it's exciting, all right? Now, if you can remember, back in April 2024, I predicted something, right? It was a loose prediction, but it actually came true. I predicted that we were going to see some strange aerial phenomena, some UAP in the sky. And it was all because of the eclipse, because I had this feeling and I saw patterns before. Whenever there's some weird stuff going on in space or our atmosphere or some sort of, big date that occurs, something happens. It's almost like these UAPs or something else is watching, and wants to show us. Now, lo and behold, on the eclipse, the day of the eclipse, there was loads of things that happened in the sky. Not just that little shadow that shot across, which a lot of people say was just a plane shadow. I don't think so. I think it was something else. I actually did a video on this. It was called These Strange Things Happened on the Eclipse Moment. It was on 9th of April 2024. I'll leave the link somewhere. All right. But the reason I'm mentioning that is because something huge is going to happen again. It was actually happening at this moment. Okay. The 1st of June and the 2nd of June, there is going to be some crazy stuff going on in the sky. All right. A G4 severe geomagnetic storm watch issued for June 2nd following strong Earth-detected CME. The US Space Weather Prediction Center, SWPC, issued a G4 Severe Geomagnetic Storm watch for June 2nd, 2025, following the eruption of a powerful Earth-directed coronal mass ejection, CME, associated with a long-duration M8.1 solar flare from active region 4100. The CME is forecast to arrive at Earth late on June 1st, with geomagnetic storm conditions expected to intensify through June 2nd. Now, so we're going to see things like the aurora lights, things like that, more than likely, if the weather's clear. We could be expecting some sort of power cutouts and things like this, some strange stuff. But I predict, mate, that tonight and tomorrow there's going to be strange things happening in the sky again. But this adds on or links to a gentleman that's been sending me and tagging me in so many of his videos by the name of Dre the Beatmaker over on X. All right, shout out to you, mate, for tagging me on these videos you've been making. Now, this gentleman's been looking into this UAP phenomena, looking into the sky, looking into these solar flares for years, he claims. Okay, now he's gone on to the homepage. WSPCNOAA.gov, and that's basically the Space Weather Prediction Center. And on here you can find like the sun, the magnetic aurora forecast. You've also got this here, which is the coronal mass electrons. All right, and now he's seen a few anomalies which a lot of people can't explain, but he's going to try to explain it to us. Here's his video, and I'm going to break it down because when he talks, he mentions things that just sort of relate to other things that I've seen and things like that. So let's listen to what he has to say here.
So the power just went out. Y'all see this? Thundering and lightning. The power just went out. So that means when I get back on the computer, I'm going to go back to the website. I'm going to check the satellites. Then it should have been it should be an update. So whatever we see from when I show y'all this, because this is happening now. And I got to do it like this because this is how I prove what I'm saying. Because y'all see it's raining and all that. This is how our ancestors work. If y'all understand what I'm saying. Some people call it the spirit, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, the power went out because I'm blessed. So they do things for me to show y'all. So they knocked this thing out. So the whole computer reset. It's cutting on now. I'm gonna go back to the website. We're gonna look at those 3 different telescopes, satellites, whatever you want to call it. I go right back to the same website to check and see what they are doing. That's what I do. I go on there to see what they are doing. I know when I see that, this is gonna happen. When they be doing this type of move, this is gonna happen. I've been studying them for years. See, I don't know about them talking to you telepathically. I do know this. When I be outside, I look up, I see them, I flash my light, they wink back at me. Stuff like that. They get closer, they'll move back. Like real stuff. They don't do all this making gas. They just pop up as a star. If you talk to it, it gets brighter. It starts twinkling more brighter. If you flash your light at it, because it's talking in Morse code. So if you know Morse code, you talk to it in Morse code, and they speak back.
Now, just remember Morse code, because I'm going to jump onto that in a second. This is what made me think, right?
There's nothing we can see. It's just they above us. They there. You can't see them, but like cats can see them. Like dogs can see them, and we only can see them when they using a lot of energy to shine bright as stars or whatever y'all call them. Y'all call them stars.
So there you go, right? So he's referring to these orbs as stars, or what we call stars. And he says they can only use it if they can harness energy, right? And this is where it comes to. And this is what, and then later on, he sees something which is like quite crazy.
I call them a place where our ancestors go and they navigate in those things. Okay, here we go. It's loaded. See, it's loaded. See the time down there? This one's still loading. This one's still loading. Now, mind me showing y'all this. When y'all looking at the time, make sure y'all watch the time stamp, so you can know if you looking at a lie or not. Okay, so it should have updated, and this is what they showing now. Oh, and that happened. Now watch this. This update. So we're gonna take it because we need a scientist to look at this time and put these two together. See if it is this path, the sun, corona mass ejection.
So this centerpiece here is the sun, right? Okay, and these are obviously the flares.
See, when that did that, when that popped, this did this here. When that happened, that happened. When that orb flew by.
I'm jumping between parts here, which is quite annoying because he posted me on so many and then he posted somebody else and he doesn't say which part it is. Okay, so this is the sun, this is Earth, and this is the flare, right?
Mass ejection. We in the red. See the time? When that orb flew by, it made the sun do a corona mass ejection. When the corona mass ejection did that, now it's coming towards us. And that's what y'all looking at in the other video. This is just a top view of what y'all was looking at. So it ain't showing the orb flying by in this.
Do you remember that orb that flew by?
This path, the sun, corona mass ejection.
Now, something else happens in a bit. Just hold on. I know it's crazy, but it sort of paints a better picture come the end.
You only see the corona mass ejection happening. So it's going to hit us. Y'all see this, right?
This is the part where he sees something, right?
Watch the star shoot by. Now start over. The star shoot by. Boom, you seen it? Then the corona mass ejection. That is what you're looking for. That's what it looked like on the last Glasgow C3. Here we go again. Watch this. Blink, the thing shoot by, corona mass ejection. Over here, watch this. See the time? See those black holes? That's the spots they hit on the sun. Watch the top up here. Watch this. That's the spaceship right there. You seen the spaceship, how fast it moves?
Bear with me on that. Bear with me, okay? Bear with me. I'll slow that down a second. I just want to let the video play.
And once again, they're looking at that to see what it looked like in real time. Okay, you guys, so y'all can have a better idea of what I mean when I say that the orbs are sucking energy from the sun. Okay, listen. Right here, you have the sun. That's in the center. Okay, you got orbs, you got shit flying into it, which are orbs. Okay, if you zoom in on this orb right here, this is an orb. Okay, you see those lines right there? If you pay attention to those, because I've been studying this, okay, watch this. Every time this long line, watch, it ain't touching it right here. It ain't touching the sun. As when it get in the sun, it's gonna boom. Y'all see that? Then the orb is gonna release. It's gonna release. Now just the time right here, so y'all can see the time.
So basically, I think what he's claiming is these solar flares happen when an orb draws energy from the sun. I'd love to know exactly. I mean, he's saying this is an orb. Like, have you got any other ideas of what this is? It could be something well known.
By me showing this, I'm saying this the path that it made, and that thing that's hitting the sun, that's coming in and out, is sitting right here hitting the sun. That's what we're looking at right there.
See this part here, what he's pointing to, right? That reminded me of something, and I'm going to show you again in a bit. I'm sorry, I'm doing this all. I'm going to show you in a bit. But I am going to, okay? Because I don't want to back and forth between these videos because we'll end up losing track. Okay, so we've got that gentleman who's basically saying these solar flares are when orbs are taking energy from the sun, okay? Which made me think of something that Luke from Interdimensional Discussions found out, okay? Take a listen to this, and it's to do with solar flares.
Down and analysing the data of crop circles, today I have discovered something incredibly profound. Every single crop circle from the 2024 period and onwards has appeared after a solar flare, okay? 19th of May, right? A solar flare captured by NASA's Solar Dynamic Observatory. The crop circle I visited on May 15th, okay? So here we go, an X 2.7 class solar flare on May 14th and reported on the morning of the 15th. This is when this crop circle appeared as well. 11th of April, this year in Dorset, a X 1.1 solar flare from Sunspot region 4086. This bad boy appeared. Now, two very similar crop circles that appeared in Warminster on August 8, 2024. It appeared after a solar flare, moderate 1.97 flame, and the second one, which is the more intricate one above, appeared on August 29th, 2024. Watchers observed a series of powerful solar flares between Saturday, August 27 and Monday, August 29th, the most powerful of which registered an M8 class flare that occurred on Monday 8 at 7:07 AM. 28th of July, 2024. Okay, so this one came from Sutton, Scotney, Hampshire. The sun emitted a strong solar flare peaking at 10:37 PM on July 28th, 2024. Right, very interesting. Roman Road, Wiltshire. 23rd of July 2024, a significant solar flare occurred on July 23rd, 2024. A solar orbiter SO10 spacecraft observed an X14 class solar flare. Right. Badbury Rings, Dorset. Okay, Friday 19th of July. Solar flare activity has been moderate levels for the past 24 hours. The largest solar event of the period was an M3 event observed at the 19th. Okay, of July. Stonehenge, 14th of July 2024. The solar flare from the sunspot AR3738 occurred late Saturday night, July 13th at 10:34 PM. Okay, and then this was reported on the 14th. 30th of June 2024, okay, we have Clapham Oakley, Bedfordshire. Okay, 30th of June 2024, a solar flare occurred on the 30th of June 2024, specifically a moderate M1.99 class flare, and it was recorded at 6:57. 30th of June 2024, Stonehenge, Wiltshire. Okay, again, a solar flare occurred on the 30th of June 2024, specifically a moderate M1.99 class flare, much like the last one we saw was recorded at 6:57. Now, if you notice, the solar flare that happened on this day and on the Clapham Oakley, okay, they are exactly the same day. And then both of these crop circles appeared at the exact same time, babe. Now, the first one of 2024, 12th of June 2024 in Windmill, Wiltshire, okay, a solar flare occurred on the 12th of June 2024, specifically a C4 class flare was observed at 107 from Sunspot region AR3713. There you go.
I looked into that, right? And now this is assuming that all of those are, let's say, legit crop circles, because actually the first one, which he in fact said himself, he made a TikTok about, it appears to be fake, that one. But then it argues, well, how do these fakers know when there's a solar flare, right? If they are fake, how do they know when there's a solar flare? Or do they go, oh, there's a solar flare, let's do a crop circle, in the hope that someone will one day work out the pattern whenever there's a solar flare, there's a crop circle, or vice versa? So I looked into how many solar flares there are, and there's about 20 a day. There's about 20 solar flares a day. However, on Luke's defense, most of the ones that he was calling out there have, like, they're in like an M strength. So you've got different strengths of solar flares, right? Let me just try and find this sort of breakdown for you. So solar flares are classified by their strength, with the most common classified using letters A, B, C, M, and X. Each letter represents a 10-fold increase in energy output, similar to the Richter scale for earthquakes. Within each letter class, there's a finer scale between 1 to 9, with X class flares being the strongest. So most of what he was saying there were M, right? So C class, also too small to cause noticeable effects on Earth. However, the M can cause brief radio blackouts at the poles and minor radiation storms. Okay, so is there a link to solar flares and crop circles? Is there a link to solar flares and orbs taking energy? This is what I'm saying at the beginning of the video. I said it sort of branches out and then brings back into yourself again. Now, Dre the Beat Maker on X, he also mentioned about when you talk to them, right? When you talk to them, they shine bright and they twinkle back and things like that. And he also referred to a Morse code. Now, my argument with Morse code is, because I've seen in the past where people were talking about, you know, why would an alien use Morse code, right? They can travel through different dimensions and things like that. Why would they use something basic as Morse code? Well, my argument is, well, why wouldn't they? If they know that we, you know, understand Morse code and they want to communicate, why don't they just use Morse code, okay? But then it made me look into other sort of signals that we're getting from outer space. And there's been quite a few signals. Some claim to have like an understanding of what they are, and some we still just don't understand what these things mean and where they come from. We've got the WOW signal. We've got the FFR burst, okay? Fast radio burst, FRB, a fleeting blast of energy that can, for a few milliseconds, outshine an entire galaxy. Hundreds of FRBs have been detected over the past few years. They pop off all over the sky like camera flashes at a stadium event, but the sources behind these intense bursts of radiation remain uncertain. That's weird. And then you've got the SHGBO2+14A, right? What I noticed about that, which was quite strange, is it gave out a frequency of about 1,420 megahertz. And I looked into what would 1,420 megahertz do to the body, because it made me think of music. And I know that there's that particular I can't remember now off the top of my head what hertz it is that basically, apparently there's a hertz that's cured so many different things before in the past and stuff like that. But I mean, that's a different video altogether. But then I looked into the hertz of 1420. This says here, a frequency of 1420 hertz falls within human audible range and is not associated with any known harmful effects to the body. In fact, its frequency is binaural beats, a technique that can be potentially influence brain activity and mood. Brain activity and mood. So a signal is coming from outer space at the hertz of 1420, and it can influence brain effectivity and mood. That's odd, because there's a woman called Vanga, right? She died on the 11th of August 1996, but she did some crazy predictions, like crazy predictions. So I'm just going to call, like, that's her name if you want to pronounce that. I'm going to call her Vanga. Was visually impaired, mystic healer and astrologer from Bulgaria who died in 1996 at the age of 85. Even decades after her death, her prophecies continue to intrigue and fascinate audiences globally, often called the Nostradamus of the Balkans. Baba Vanga claimed that her ability to foresee future events emerged after the loss of her vision at the age of 12. Look at these two predictions. Encounters with extraterrestrial beings. According to Baba Vanga, humans might experience contact with extraterrestrial life or phenomena linked to alien encounters. Emergence of telepathy. She predicted that by 2025, humans might develop telepathic abilities, fundamentally altering interpersonal communications. This breakthrough could enable people to exchange thoughts and ideas regardless of physical distance. So, like, I know that I'm entertaining myself here, okay? I'm just entertaining myself. You can see how much of wormhole I've gone through today, yeah? It's absolutely crazy. A rabbit hole, not a wormhole. Maybe going through a wormhole, I don't know. And finally, the bit that I said where Dre the Beatsmaker, he showed this. Now, let me just put that there so I don't lose it. He pointed at something very specific that made me think of something, right?
In this world, we see a lot of videos. And a lot of videos be fake. But this ain't fake. We said it. Okay, this video is because, okay, this same object right here.
That bit there reminded me of something. Look at this. Look at that. And also notice where this position is. Let's just say that's probably, what, 7 o'clock? 7:30? If it was a clock, if the sun was a clock. Look at this.
Somebody in the world got a video of this object leaving from this area.
This tether here? Here? Is it moved? Is he right? And there was another bit here.
Watch this. That's the spaceship right there. You seen the spaceship? That's the spaceship.
So we've got solar flares coming to Earth. Are we going to be seeing more UAPs in the sky because of it? Are UAPs or orbs drawing energy from the sun? Is there motherships drawing energy from the sun? Are we going to be getting telepathy soon? Are aliens coming? Because didn't somebody else predict in 2025 as well that this is going to be the year? In fact, I mentioned it the other day on the other video. There was that soldier who was lying there saying all hell's going to break loose on 2025. He's rubbing his eye. And it was to do, he was talking about the Miami Mall, the situation with the shadow, the 8-foot shadow beings. And then somebody else, who was it now? Who was it? Dr. Stephen Greer said something about 2025 as well. It's all going a bit crazy. I've got a feeling we're going to be busy bumblebees. Are we also going to see more crop circles? Let me know. I'm sorry it was all a bit wishy-washy. I'll try to use my editing wizardry. And also, please, somebody emailed me today saying that, Ben, YouTube unsubscribed me. So please just double check to see if you are subscribed. We're fast approaching 1 million subscribers, mate. It'd be epic if we get there. All right. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.